Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today is potato harvesting day. We're gonna go ahead and dig up all of our potatoes and see what we get to harvest this year. I grew 2 full rows of potatoes this year, 3 different varieties, and my rows are about 70 foot long, so about 140 foot of potatoes in the ground right now. And let's see, I grew 1 full row of russet potatoes and right about half a row of, a little more than half a row of the Yukon Gold, which I've grown for a few years now, and a little less than half of a row then of redskin potatoes, which was my first year growing the redskin variety. I don't remember exactly what the variety was called, but I think I have the tag in the house, I'm not sure. But I'm gonna go ahead and go over here and harvest those potatoes today. They did amazing this year as far as the vegetation that you can see on top of the ground. Obviously, I don't really know what's going on under there per se, but they grew huge very quickly, and I had no pests, and I mean none, and it was amazing to me because the past 2 years we had a lot of potato bugs that we were just going out there and picking off every day, either me or the kids. It was like a daily chore of going out and just going through and picking off any of the bugs. But this year we didn't find a single one, and they were just thriving and huge and looking great. And oh look, a flock of geese up there just flew over. But so we have been really anticipating seeing our potato harvest. We did have early summer, it was really dry. We had this drought. It was terrible for weeks and weeks and weeks. We saw no rain and hot sun. And so I was watering the garden about every other day probably, I'm not sure, for a few hours with the drip tape. And so they were going strong, looking great. Then we finally got rain, and it was a huge, like, torrential downpour, thunderstorm, wind, really harsh, and it just flattened those potato plants. Like, all of them kind of fell over, and they never really came back from that. Like, they never stood back up and dried off and lifted back up. They just kept laying there. And they've just kind of fairly rapidly probably kind of deteriorated and started dying back. So I don't know if that was their natural progression and they were just ready to start to die back and be ready for harvesting, or if it had something to do with that torrential downpour and the trauma that they received, that they started to die back then. So hoping that we have a really good harvest, hoping that we have good results. It's always fun digging up potatoes, so let's go ahead and check it out, see what we got. We're gonna get a wheelbarrow or 2 out here, and I'll just have the kids help me to put them in the wheelbarrow, and then we're gonna bring them, probably depending on how many we get. If we can fit them all in the garage, we're gonna go ahead and lay down just some cardboard on the floor, and then we'll just put all of our potatoes on the cardboard and let them sit there for a while to cure before we go ahead and store those down in our basement pantry. So this is kind of what the garden is looking like right now. Actually, the garden was really stunted this year because we were planning on moving. I didn't plan a garden. So the garden was very last minute when it turned out that we weren't able to move quite yet. So most of my seeds, I always buy my seeds from Baker Creek, but this year, because it was last minute, I only had a few varieties and stuff from Baker Creek. Most of what you see here, I got my seeds from Tractor Supply. So I don't remember the name of the brand of seeds that I got, but they said heirloom and organic, some of them, and so I got those at Tractor Supply. Sometimes I buy Burpee seeds, their organic line, and I have great success with that. But the other company, I can't remember if it was like Back to Nature or something like that, heirloom varieties. I've used seeds from them here and there, but most of the time I use Baker Creek for about 98% of my seeds. But like I said, this year most of what I got is from Tractor Supply. And those seeds seem very unreliable. The germination rate was extremely low. In fact, I had a whole 70-foot row of corn I planted. Nothing came up. So I thought, well, maybe it was something I did, or maybe they didn't get enough water to germinate. I direct sowed them out here. Maybe something dug them up and ate them. So I went ahead and bought new seeds, same company, because that was like my only choice at the time. Since it was late season, everybody goes out and buys out all the seeds, so you kind of just get what you can find at that point. So I got another pack of the same thing and replanted them. And again, I only have probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. I think 7 of them came up. I planted them every 12 inches and staggering them into 2 rows. And so out of 70-foot row, planting every 12 inches, only 7 of them came up after planting twice. So I will never be buying those seeds again. Also, pretty much the same thing happened with the green bean seeds that I got. Same company, the green beans. I planted a whole 70-foot row. I think I planted them every 8 inches according to the seed packet. Almost none of them came up. So I, again, at the same time as the corn, I went and bought more seeds. I bought one that was the same company, one that was, I believe, Burpee organic line, and planted those kind of half and half. Well, the Burpee ones all came up. It's a super thick, luscious row of green beans, and the other seeds did not come up almost at all. So now it's kind of late for Michigan to be able to replant. There's just not enough time before our first frost to start corn. It should be, like chest high by now. So I just won't be able to get corn this year. I'm just out on my luck this year. And green beans, because we got half a row, I think we'll do really well. It won't be quite as much as I wanted to do, but it should be plenty to get. Hopefully we'll be able to get a year's supply canned of them. I don't know. But also, a lot of my other plants were stunted because I usually use the Burpee Organic Seed Starter Mix, which I have great success. But this year, I was at Walmart and I thought, oh, they have this Jiffy Organic Mix. I'll just grab that. And I did, and it was a huge mistake. My plants were very, very stunted. I have some video clips I'll probably insert here too that show the difference between seeds planted, same seeds, same packet, planted at the same time. The one of them, you'll see it's tiny, 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 and it was planted in the Jiffy Mix, and the other, you'll see the difference, that was planted in the Burpee Organic Seed Starter Mix. So it's a huge difference, and it's really stunted the plants kind of long term. My tomatoes are right here. You can see under my new trellis. They are tiny compared to what they should be. They've been out here. I transplanted them out to the garden 2 months ago, and they're still so tiny. So yeah, hopefully we get some good harvests, but I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm just going to keep doing what I do and garden and preserve this food for my family. But today we're going to focus on these potatoes. It's going to be so fun. So we actually just dug up a few with my husband because he wanted to be able to dig a few up on his own and see what was under there before I started filming. So we have some potatoes that are quite exciting. I want to show you guys these real quick, and then we're going to get started on actually digging these things up. Alrighty, as you can see, we raked back the cover so we don't get that mixed in with our dirt, and we're ready to go to town on this row and actually dig up the potatoes. You can see there's already a lot poking out, so let's go ahead and dig these up. So we kind of abandoned our pitchfork because the tines are so far apart. We were missing a lot of potatoes and had to go through anyways with our hands. So we're kind of just getting in and getting dirty and digging with our hands. And that way we can really feel everywhere and not miss any. And we're kind of just throwing them off to the side, and then the kids are gonna come along and pick them up and put them over at the end of the row into our wheelbarrow, and then we're gonna take them in and get them curing. We got our first row all the way done. It's so hot, but we got it all done. Now we got one more row to do, and let's see how many russet potatoes we have over in the wheelbarrow. Alrighty, so here is our russet potatoes. So this was one row worth of potatoes. They look really nice, good size. Most of them are about average, medium size, with some really nice sized ones too, so super happy. We even collected the little itty bitty ones that aren't fully developed, and we're gonna feed these little teeny ones to our chickens when we're all done. All right, we're gonna take these into the garage and do the next row. We got the russets out drying in the garage on some cardboard, and now we're gonna go ahead and get this second and final row done. They've already started to rake back the wood chips and leaves and everything and pull out the plants, and then we're gonna go ahead and get to digging again. into the garage to start curing, and then we'll grab the last, the Yukon Gold. All right, we finally finished getting both rows of our potatoes harvested today. I cannot believe the size of our potatoes this year. They're absolutely giant. I just can't even believe it. I planted them, let's see, actually probably about a week or so after I had hoped to get them in the ground, which was right after our last frost, I think. I can't remember if I planted them right before we went on vacation or right after. But so yeah, we put them in the ground right around the same time as we normally would. And it seems really early to be already digging them up, because it's really the end of July now, almost August. So yeah, I feel like it's kind of early, but the plants had all died back. The front row was pretty much completely dead, and the further back row was about 75% dead or so. And last year I waited too long to dig them up, and I had quite a few that were rotted in the ground, and I didn't want to have them rotting again. So that's why I went ahead and jumped on it since I had the day off today. It's Sunday and it's really nice out, so I just wanted to go ahead and get them picked before we lost any to rot in the ground. So really happy with the results. I am really excited to see them in the pantry and to can a bunch of those up. It's gonna be amazing. I know my mom she told me that she doesn't dig hers up until, I think she said, the first frost, like or something like that. I think she said after the first frost or something in the fall is when they dig theirs up. So I feel like I'm kind of early, but last year, like I said, I waited a little longer and they got rotted. So yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. And yeah, I do have I believe I have a video, you guys, of canning potatoes from a year or two ago. And so if you guys are interested in seeing how to can your potatoes, make sure you check back for that. If I can figure out how, I'll link that video either in the video or down below in the description. I try to keep important information down there in the description box, so make sure that you guys utilize that and check that out. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave those below as well. So thank you guys for watching this video and coming to see what we're doing over here on the farm, and I hope to see you guys again. We'll see you in the next video. Have a blessed day. Bye.